Good morning. My name is John Marsano, and welcome to Probate Matters. Today, we're going to talk about how fighting inside the estate is never good for anyone. The truth of the matter is that as you're going through this process, it's emotional for everybody. And unfortunately, not everybody gets along inside this process or inside this, probate court system. It's very tough, right? Because you have all of these emotions that are going on. People feel like maybe they're not getting what their loved one intended. Maybe they feel like, I really took care of this person before they passed, my loved one, and the person who didn't do anything is now getting everything or more than they should. And so I just wanted to spend a few minutes and, give you my experience over the last 6 years as it relates to this topic. So we do probate advances here at Advance My Inheritance. And I can tell you, in doing this over the last 6 years, I've dealt with many, many cases where a loved one is fighting with another loved one. And I just wanted to throw this out there just to kind of, be a gee whiz or something more, seed for you to get planted to think about. That the truth is that unfortunately, by fighting among, each heir or each other, the only person that wins in this, quite frankly, are the lawyers. It's almost like a bad divorce, right? So the husband and wife, they get divorced and they're fighting and they're going crazy and, they won't give in, right? It's just crazy. And it's almost like War of the Roses, right? And so at the end, the only two people that wind up getting hurt the most are the people going through the divorce. And they're the ones that get the least amount of money because they spend all their energy and all their time and quite frankly, the resources of the estate and maybe their own in fighting a battle that's just taking money out of their own, pocket. So I know it's difficult. And I know that, these things sometimes have to go through a court process and, lawsuits have to be filed. But I will tell you that if you can find a way to amicably solve this with your siblings and or stepmom or stepdad or whoever it is that you're battling through this process, settlement is always the best or maybe almost the best way. If it's all out fraud, that's different. If it's all out, something that just cannot be solved through a settlement, then, obviously that's going to be, the choice that you have to make in the end with the consultation of an attorney. But just know the only ones that benefit the most from fighting inside an estate case, or quite frankly, any case, are the lawyers. Their fees, they have to be paid. And whatever you had in the estate, if there's home selling and that's going to bring cash, if there are bank accounts and they're to be split, all that gets, sort of taken away or certainly gets eroded in the process if all the members of the family are doing is fighting. And just remember, too, that time is a factor as well. So, what could normally be a 12-month process, depending upon where you're at and what state, some states you can get estates, fully probated and to final distribution in 6 to 12 months. Some are, 12 to 18 months. But when you start fighting, these things can take years. And so, here you're a person, you're an heir that thinks you're getting, 100,000, 150,000, and you think you're getting it, in 6 to 12 months. Next thing you know, it turns out to be 4 years. And when you get to the end and you get to final distribution, you find out that the only one that got the $150,000 or, pretty close to it are the attorneys. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not disparaging any attorneys. I think the attorneys in this process are vital. And I always encourage everybody to work with an attorney through this process. But what I encourage you even more than to work with an attorney is to try and get along and try and settle and try and work amicably through with your siblings, your stepmom, your stepdad, your aunts, your uncles, whoever it is that you're battling or whoever's battling you. If you can all come together and get to the point where, maybe you can mend some fences, maybe you can, figure out how to get things done, because if you do, it means a whole lot more money in your pocket. It means maybe salvaging a relationship, and maybe you don't want to do that. But I certainly know that you don't want to give up money that your loved one had intended for you. So anyway, this is John Marciano from Probate Matters. Just something to think about. Keep the money in your pocket and nobody else's. Well, at least not the lawyers. And, make sure the family money is the family money and do what you can. And God bless. And, hope to see you again on another Money Matters along with Probate Matters. Thank you.